angry teenager almost.
Yeah.
So he is upset, and he's like starting to ride away from her for a time. And he's like, I know what I am. I'm going to bring her to death. Like half underneath his voice.
Yeah.
Trying to reaffirm to himself, no, I'm cool.
I do what I want.
Yeah. But kind of quietly, because he doesn't want to be like, I'm the bringer of death. Because that'll start a fight.
Yeah. Or at the very least, have someone look at you like, the fuck did you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mr. Bringer of Death. Okay.
Verna freaks out because apparently that wasn't a prophecy, but she's not going to tell him anything other than that because that would be too far.
Yeah. Well, that tracks with the sisters.
Yeah.
There are 3 reasons. No, we're not going to tell you what they are.
Ugh.
Which, I mean, red flag, right? Be transparent.
Yeah,
or just don't be.
Obviously, your facts aren't super real if you can't just, like, open up about them. But Richard doesn't really care enough to press the issue, so he lets it drop too, because he's like, cool, whatever.
I'm sorry. Aaron just said, I like to think he said it with a Samuel L. Jackson accent. And also, did say motherfucker, but it just wasn't recorded in the book. I'm the bringer of death, motherfucker. That's my favorite one. You know, he would have turned in his saddle and looked right at her if Sam Jackson was saying it, too.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a passive looking off in the distance thing. A mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. Love it.
Jared McCracken said, this is my son, the bringer of death. Just imagine a cookout. See, and this is why Richard didn't, grow up with his dad. Because if Darkin grew up with him, he definitely would have been toted out like that.
Oh, he totally would have said that, too.
Yeah.
What's with the name tag? He only has initials on there? No, that's his name. It's B.O.D. The what?
The bod.
The bod. Richard the bod. The bringer of death. No big deal. But Verna... Okay, I'm sorry. I kind of skipped back, and then now I know where we are. So they stop for the night. The sun is going down, and Verna demands that Richard start a fire. This, I mean, I'm going to go out there and say... favorite part of the chapter, hands down, right here for me. I don't know if you guys agree. I kind of hope you do.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
But Richard reminds her that there's a magic word that can make amazing things happen, and you obviously forgot about it. It's please. And that could also be said in a Sam Jackson voice. I think that would be appropriate. He's like, I'm not cold. You can make a fire if you want to. Peace. I'm going to go take watch.
And that it was very satisfying that he was like not going to make her a fire. I wanted him to do that so bad, and I was like, oh, he's going to make a fire because I forgot, but he didn't. I was like, oh, yeah.
Sticking it to the man.
Well, also, this woman has to have been used to making fires for herself, right? Like, her and the sisters have to make fires, had to have made fires this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, they had to travel at least all this distance to get to Richard.
And if they were going to get somebody, they were expecting a child, so they weren't going to expect him to do it. Well, maybe they were, because they would expect a child to bury a damn body.
Yeah. Go dig that grave. Ugh. There's got to be something to be said about, child labor laws, something like that. Make the fire, dig the grave. Richard is just lucky he's a grown man.
Yeah. Also, is Verna's magic all tied up right now?
How so?
Like, make some fire, bitch.
If you had said that 2 seconds later, I would have had a mouthful of beer, and that would be so bad. Make a fire, bitch. I'd like to think maybe that's what Richard said after reminding her to say please. Oh. Yeah, yes, he's right. They have to assert control early. I mean, like I just said, Richard is lucky he's a grown man because that's not going to work on him.
But Jared backed up my point. She's a sorceress. Rave your hands. Magic that shit.
Yeah. He's got 2 sticks rubbing together. What are you doing? Poof, done.
But yeah, I guess it is a power play. That does make sense. She's like, oh, no, you have to bend to my will. But he's not going to because he's an adult.
Well, and that's why, like, she refuses to make the fire, too. It has to be. She stuck her neck out there like, you do it. And he said no. She's like, fine, then I'm not doing it. And then she gets to suffer the cold night through.
Yeah. Well, I would not feel bad.
I'm sorry. My comment of child labor laws got a Ron Swanson quote. Child labor laws are ruining this country. I mean, I kind of disagree, although... Kind of disagree. No, I totally disagree, although I do love Ron Swanson.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we like to work our children. They should be worked.
Yeah, well... In the way you're saying it, it sounds very harsh, but, like, they do chores and stuff. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't make them dig a grave, although I do wonder what they would say to me if I brought them 2 shovels and brought them out to the backyard and said, I need a 6-foot by 3-foot hole, and it has to be 8 feet deep.
Weekend project. Here we go.
You have until dark. Go.
It'll also be part of our live episode.
Yeah, oh, gosh.
Checking in on the children. Just kidding. That's not going to happen.
But all Richard can think about at this point is Kahlan. He's out there on watch. He sits on a gopher hole, which I like. Good on you. You found a soft spot, but also now the gopher is in the ground and stuck. I don't know. And he's looking at the lock of hair that she gave him. The lock of hair she gave him to remember her by. And in Richard's mind, to remember her by because he's never going to see her again.
Yeah.
And this is where he kind of remembers Kahlan calling his love a filthy lie, which just, spiral. This is what this is.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. He grips it with the Aegil and then holds it until he almost passes out and just sobs into the dirt for a little while. And I don't know, I really felt like it showed how broken down his mental state was. Because he starts thinking about the fact that she really wanted to get rid of him the whole time. Like, that's all she wanted. Which doesn't make sense because they just got back together like a day before that. So, she could have not.
Oh, yeah.
But again, he's mind fucked from all of this. So he hucks the hair and he sets her free and then just cries.
Oh, just painful. I mean, I can kind of relate with Richard. It's really no secret. I was a depressed and angry teenager, and as a depressed and angry teenager, I did this all the time. I would go, here's some truth for you. I would steal a cigarette from my dad and go sit out on the, in front of the garage door on a driveway, and my cat, Shivers, R.I.P., buddy, I love you, would come and sit by me, and I would talk to the cat. But a lot of times it would involve me starting to go into one of these spirals. This happened because I'm stupid. I'm stupid because of this. And this other thing is making it worse. And I'm never going to get out of this. And it's just worse compiled on worse, compiled on worse. And, I mean, luckily my cat was fucking awesome. So eventually he would nudge my arm and I would remember, oh, hey, it's not all bad, okay? You have to pull yourself out of the nosedive, otherwise you will crash. And I related, because sitting alone by yourself in the dark with your thoughts can be a very bad thing, depending on where you are, but it can also be very therapeutic, and it definitely got me out of some stuff.
Well, yeah, and I mean, especially after everything that Richard's been through, he literally fought through being tortured and everything just for Kahlan. Only for her to put the collar back on him, essentially, for him to be tortured again. And it's like, bye-bye! And so he's like, even if it doesn't make sense logically, really, to us who reading the story, like, why would she... You gotta know she did this for a good reason. But no, he doesn't, because his brain just isn't able to make that connection right now.
Yeah, he's not looking at it from the same point of view we are. He saw it as, I escaped my captor. And I was free, and I was with the woman I loved, and everything was great. I had everything I wanted. Sure, I almost did it. The nameless one, I'm actually positive I said it somewhere in this recording. I didn't catch it. But the nameless one is going to break out of the veil and, you know, I'm sorry, I threw myself off. He is not thinking about this like we're thinking about this. From his perspective, he just got out. He had his wife to be. He was going to get married. It was great. Sure, the keeper is trying to tear the veil and get out, but like Richard had everything he wanted for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it was taken away from him again. And I mean, that compounds the thought that I'm never going to get out of this. It's never going to get any better. And even if it does, this is going to happen again.
And honestly, if Kahlan had just told him the truth, this would all be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just so fucking confusing that she was just like, no, put it on. Well, Kahlan, we talked about this. And he was like, nope, put it on. You have to put it on. My pet, you don't love me. Put the fuck about. No, just be like, hey, you have to do this for you. I don't really not love you. I do. No, she did it all wrong. Kahlan, I love her. I really do love her as a character. And I do. Okay, I wanted to say this. In the last episode, I shit on her a lot. And I probably have shit on her more than I should overall as we're reading these books. Because I love her as a character. I just didn't realize when you, like, break it down, some of her, like, actions aren't necessarily the most, they aren't what I would do. And they irritate me now inspecting them closer as opposed to, like, as an overarching storyline. So, sorry if I've been overly critical of Kahlan.
You know, you're not the only one. We just got something in the chat from Aaron. Says, like, look, doing a bad thing with good intentions is still a bad thing. I had very strong dislike for Kahlan after the last few chapters.
Okay, good.
And I mean, excuse me, and we don't really want to spoil anything, but Aaron, that is a very good point you make, and I guarantee you, I know you've already read this book, but I guarantee you that's going to tie in to literally the whole book.
Yeah, well, either way, I want to apologize, but also with a caveat that if Kahlan's being dumb, I'm going to call it out. I like her. Overall, I love her. She's a wonderful character. But I think I forget how short-sighted she can be sometimes. Yeah.
No, I'll agree with you. I guess for me, this decision of hers rubbed me the wrong way because I believed on my first read through, right, that Richard was right when he said, let's get to Zed. Zed will know what to do. He can fix this problem. And it was a choice Kahlan decided to make at the very last second, which caused Richard to put on the collar. But I fully believe, had they gone through with the wedding like planned, had they called Scarlet, and had they gotten the fuck out of Dodge and into Aidendrill when they wanted to, this all could have been avoided. Unfortunately, wish in one hand, shit in the other. So, yeah. I mean, here we are. But, yeah, I mean, not great.
Well, everybody just kept wanting to wait a little bit longer. They're dumb. See? And Jared's on our side, too. Everybody. Okay. I feel a little better now, because after I listened, I was editing the last chapter, and I was like, oh, Jade, you're being real mean. You should apologize to all the people who listen to you shit all over her.
Hey, it might be mean, but we were also critical of the narrator of this book, not unfairly. No. Same with the characters. I believe that the magic here is that we're honest about the way we feel, and as it turns out, we're not the only ones.
Everybody's flawed. Ha!
Boom.
Drink your beer to that.